The snow fell for hours. We couldn't see the storm anymore. The entrances and exits to Costco were blocked for safety reasons, but we could certainly hear it. The wind and the weight of the white stuff sent creaks and groans throughout the entire metal beam of the warehouse. Each unhappy grunt from the building supports and a nervous rattle through our merry band of 15 remaining survivors. Costco had been good to us, but if the heat cut or the ceiling came down, we'd soon be in our own. A woman named Ellen held a bawling child in a judgmental gaze towards anyone who dared eye contact. After hours of silence, she broke the silence of the void, with a voice that sounded like it was 2 seconds from giving in altogether. "Has anyone contacted the authorities?" A few people grumbled their responses. The store manager, Kevin, spoke up the loudest. "We tried an hour ago. No dice. Radio's down. Phones are down. I think we all know why. We can't even see outside anymore. We're lucky to have power." Ellen considered this for a moment. "Okay, I think we're all in agreement that we should not try to go outside." Ellen moved to hush her stifling toddler. "But we need to try and contact someone. A woman is dead, and if what that boy says about the accident is true, it is true," I interjected angrily. "Then we should exhaust all our possibilities and let someone know what happened here." An elderly gentleman stood up on the floor and spoke in a confidently quaking tone. "We could try the roof." Kevin moved to interject him while a few others shouted their agreement. "Michael, come on. Nobody's going outside. It's too dangerous." He coughed a laugh. "Boy, that roof is 100 feet off the ground. Nothing will climb up there for no reason. Plus, it's probably snow-covered." "Why go up there at all?" Liz asked. "We're safe here." "Could see if the police are on the roads," Ellen offered. "Could see if the neighborhood behind us has power. We'll get a better view of things up there." "I also don't like the way that ceiling's creaking," Kevin mused. "If we could shovel some of the snow off, it would lessen the chance of it caving." "It's gonna be dark soon," Tiffany murmured. The group grew quiet. We all knew what that meant. I stood up. "Better do it now. I'll go. Anyone coming with me?" Not a soul volunteered. The dripping of water against the hull of our store reflected the embarrassing and awkward silence. I can't help but think of it in shameful retrospect. Naturally, Marcus's family protested when he stood up. "Daddy, no, please." But the bright, kind man of only 35 said nothing. He just dusted off his jeans and followed me down the back hallway. I admired him for that. And I still do, even after everything. We had to walk for a while before we found the staircase to the roof. Michael led the way while Kevin and the rest stayed behind in the safety of the aisle fort. We took a few wrong turns here and there. At one point, poor old Michael was sure he found it, but it ended up just being the bathroom. After a seemingly endless search, finally, we landed 6 feet in front of the freezing cold exit to the roof. Michael snapped his fingers and turned to us like 2 new rookie employees. "We keep the heater by the outside door. It's a fire safety thing, or something. Kevin got dinged for it years ago with the town inspector. Been paranoid about it ever since. Anyway, I thought that the heat would lessen the snow and ice enough to let you guys out." Marcus nodded, approached the door, and pushed it with all his might. "It's a pull, son." He coughed and stepped back. "Good luck out there. I mean it." I laughed and pulled open the door. A river of cold water entered the building. "Shit, it must be melting," I shouted while climbing over the ice blocks that lit outside. "That heater still works." Marcus soon joined me. In an instant, we were over the frost covering the door, and into the freedom of the space on the roof. The dipping sun looked beautiful against the pristine blanket of white. I tried to run forward, but my feet sank into the still deep snow. I tripped and fell on my face. Just like Marion. "We should be able to flag anyone down from here," Marcus shouted. "We can even get some of this shit off the roof." He brandished a shovel over his head like a victory torch. I laughed. "We're not out of the woods yet. Can't even see our cars still." I pointed at the parking lot and the location of the accident. "Those people crashed over there." I pointed again where the highway should be. "And look, nobody on the roads, just like I thought." Marcus nodded. An audible thud erupted behind our backs. Shit. My new friend turned and sprinted towards the door. "Michael, you motherfucker," Marcus screamed. I knew that dude was shady. "Michael, open the fucking door. Open the door!" Nobody answered. "Is he really gonna?" I started. Marcus finished. "Yes, he's gonna. The dude's racist as shit. I saw him looking at me and muttering under his breath. I saw him look at my wife. He probably locked the door and ran off to go creep." He tried to catch his breath. Then, Marcus did something he would never live to regret. He went to toss the shovel off the roof. Call it a release of pent-up frustration, or a childish tantrum, or just a righteously pissed-off guy frustrated with his newfound lack of options. Regardless, he caught himself before he did it. He had the maturity to realize that was stupid. But when he went to throw, Marcus slipped on the slick ice, and lost his footing. The snow on the ground was still stacked up so high that it covered the safety railings. He went over the edge quicker than you could think. I ran over and screamed bloody murder. I expected to find my friend dead when I looked over the ledge. Instead, I saw the dumbass sitting on his butt looking back up at me. 100 feet my ass. I laughed. It was stupid and soul-crushing. You had to just laugh. "How are we gonna get you back up?" I shouted back down. "Can you make it to the entrance?" "I can try, but they're not gonna let me in," he replied. "We'll make them." I tried to find a safer way to jump down and meet him. I knew the risk in that decision. I knew it was out there. But I was damned if I was gonna let my only friend become just another victim. I was damned if I was gonna watch another person die. Marcus called back up to me. "Did you hear that? In the woods. I did hear it. Trees and branches gave way somewhere in the forest to our right. I could see over them from my position. I did not want to believe what I saw. I didn't have the courage to even shout a warning to Marcus. I knew he didn't stand a chance. But when he looked at me and called out, I think he understood. So did the bear. It never really slowed down after breaking the tree line. Marcus tried to run away. Natural instinct says run when a large animal approaches. Some people even say run when faced with a brown bear. They usually only want to defend their territory. But this was no ordinary brown bear. On its hind legs, the creature stood at least 5-6 feet tall. I could tell because it looked taller than Marcus, even from a distance. Both my friend and the bear struggled through the tall snow for a sickeningly sweet moment. It looked like he might get away. But just as Marcus reached the snow-covered front door, he fell to his feet. The rest is history. I watched as the bear ripped limbs and pounds of flesh from Marcus's still shaking frame. He screamed for a while, begged for his wife, or his babies, and then his mom, his dad. All of the pride and courage that encapsulated his entire presence disappeared before my eyes. I watched it all while my addled mind tried to wrap itself around another poor person dying. There's nothing I can do, I muttered. The bear will kill me too. There's nothing I can do. The bear will kill me too. But he couldn't hear me, of course, because his ears were being digested in the belly of the beast. I was the coward. I knew it then. I know it now. It was dark. So dark that it became difficult for my eyes to stay fixed on the rotting corpse of my friend. But there was nothing else to watch. The bear left, and it came back to pick at his remains. I could hear other animals approaching through the trees. Scavengers, likely, with hellish and demonic attributes all of their own. The bear roared them off with a sound so deafening it must have made the walls of Costco shake. Then it returned casually, ingesting the leg muscles of a good man. It was cold. So cold that the hopes of melting snow quickly evaporated with the setting of the sun. An ominous awareness of death encompassed the parking lot, and the lonely rooftop around me. The street lights still stayed on. Amazingly, in that part, I could not figure out. Either Costco kept an impeccable maintenance schedule, or the power lines must be winterproofed exponentially. The door was still locked. I tried it 1,000 times before the cold covered my hands so quickly that it actually hurt my fingers to fight with the metal. So I sat, frostbitten, freezing, and welcoming a quiet death that looked so much more peaceful than the horror that took place only a few stories down below. I could hear my heart slow down. I could feel saliva freezing on my chin. I could smell. Nothing now. Not for hours. It wouldn't be much longer now. First my extremities would go, then my heart. The cold would encompass me and freeze my body in the lifelong beauty of a scarred kid of 25 who didn't want to die. And I was alright with that. At least, alright with the logic of it. It was certainly better than the thought of that fucking animal eating me alive. But just as the hollows of my mind started to turn out the last few lights, and moments before the last few firing neurons said goodnight, a white window of hope appeared somewhere to my right. Footstep crouched steadily over the snow stacked several feet high. A stranger appeared in front of my eyes. I don't know how or why. I suppose frostbite can do that to a guy. He looked no older than 45. He wore a short-sleeve office t-shirt, clean jeans, with perfectly parted blonde hair, and a blue tie. He spoke with a southern drawl, in a deep-shaded boredom, for the peril surrounding us in the night. Good evening. Get up. We don't have time. I couldn't move. The cold covered me in its entirety. My feet sat encapsulated in frozen blocks of ice and sheets of fresh snow. My eyes struggled to stay open as the lashes froze together in uncomfortable closeness. My hands slumped at the end of my arm, like meaningless lumps, while I debated my ability to use them at all. But still, my brain screamed in defiance. I needed to get up. I knew I needed to get up, because everything about the stranger in front of me appeared fake. I can't explain it any other way. It was an instinctual reaction beyond the obvious reasons. Every fiber of my being felt like he did not belong, on the roof of a Costco in the middle of a biblical storm, or even on this planet for that matter. I felt ill in his presence. I wanted to hate him. I wanted to punch him. I wanted to vomit on him. I felt like one of those crows in a pen that can sense the other crow is sick. I wanted to get away from him more than anything in the world. But I just couldn't do it. The man stared casually at the carnage 50 feet below. His beady little eyes darted excitedly between the bear, blood, and various pieces of tissue and limbs discarded along the way. The body that used to be Marcus. My mind reflected lazily. That bloody corpse has a family inside. When he spoke, the stranger chose his words carefully, and used them patiently, like there was no rush to his tone. Like a teacher giving students instructions. You know bears can climb, boy. Even the big ones. I tried to laugh. The sound that came through sounded somewhere between a snort and a gasp, as a fresh breeze of cold air stung my cheeks. The air felt colder as time moved on. I didn't expect that to be the case. Do you understand me? If that animal's hungry enough, or angry enough, it will climb. You're not safe here. Can you confirm that you understand? The stranger approached me and pulled a flashlight out of his pocket. Dipshit. I know that. We're locked out. I spit through frostbitten lips. Are the police coming? He smiled. The police in this town are dead, he replied, quickly, simply, without hesitation. I believe everyone inside this town is dead, save you and your friends, -1. I'm all that's left. The bear grunted and roared happily from down below our position. Could it see us? I knew nothing about bears, especially creatures this large, to suggest otherwise. What's your name? Pontius. What is that? Pontius. What, like Pontius Pilate? Precisely, a Roman name, a good name. Why? He smiled again. I hated that smile. It made my stomach turn. Why that? Why Pontius? He considered that for a moment. Pontius brought order. I am order. My back shifted uncomfortably against the slanted roof paneling. The feeling in my fingers began to drift away. My toes felt like they could be flicked off like tiny little, detachable fruits. Time slipped away in quickening seconds while this shithead wasted time talking about angels and demons. I wanted to run. I wanted to get up and jump off into the bear pit. If it got me away from him. My feet felt rooted to the ground. Well, Pontius, could you bring some order to the locked door? He smiled. I can. How? Pontius walked past me. He pulled a crowbar from some sort of knapsack on his back. Then, with one swift motion, he brought it against a small glass pane. The glass shattered easily in return. I offered a hoarse cheer as he quickly turned to lift me up by the arms and into the entrance of the store. The warmth of his fresh heat immediately washed over me. I could cry, it felt so good. How are you not cold? I asked, but my question was ignored. Pontius rushed over and shut the door, just as warm water began to pelt my back. Hey man, who turned off the showers? I need that shit. Pontius snorted. The sound seemed just as foreign to him as it did to me 5 minutes before. The rain has come. It's not safe to go outside any longer. 8:30. I haven't moved. Why haven't I moved? The objects around me came into focus as my tired eyes opened and adjusted to the warm colors. Small room, heater in the corner, electricity humming warmly behind my back, a light bulb drifting in and out of luminescence, and a hole poked through the space where the roof door window used to be. Water in the corner. Water everywhere. A rush of liquid drifted in via a small crack in the bottom of the door frame, and through a hole that Pontius punched earlier. My still-cold toes greeted the return of feeling as a river of warm water passed over them. My ears opened up to an endless, dripping, leaking, and snapping that filled the building. Reality soon weighed in. Shit. I got up and stared through what used to be the window. A fork of lightning snatched its way across the sky, and seconds later, rolling thunder dipped in and out of volume menacingly. I could not see the snow anymore. At least, not all of it. An ocean of water covered the roof. Torrents fell from up above in unyielding sideways streets. Gallons rushed effortlessly over the edge to mercilessly smack the pavement 50 feet below. The bear roared somewhere in the edges of the night. The storm had changed. I could not have slept long. Instincts took over. I knew my small room next to the roof would soon become a vacuum for the water. So I turned on my heel and sprinted. I found a hall that led me there. I found the turn to the familiar employee break room that we passed before. Then I opened a door, and suddenly, I was standing over the store again. An ocean of consumer goods sat before me. Soda cans and boxes of toilet paper drifted easily through the waves. The river had a current to it. Bikes and larger objects like couches were no match for the tide. They drifted with the other junk lazily through the aisles. I tried to measure the water below me in my mind. 3 feet? 4? There must be a leak down there. I remembered the hole in the metal pull-down door. Quietly, I began to accept the fact that my friends could have drowned. Matt! A voice screamed on my right. Get in here! A foreign shape pulled me by my collar and dragged me. I couldn't see anything anymore. Water poured in from behind me so feverishly that it became hard to stand or see at all. But the hint of a Jersey accent gave way to my trust. She sounded like home. We entered a room. A door slammed. I pushed the matted hair out of my eyes to find 14 survivors, wet, scared, and shaking to their bones. Where's Marcus? Daddy? Tiffany grabbed me by the shoulders. Listen to me. We don't care if you believe me, but I saw something in the water outside. Before we knew we had to climb, it was swimming beside me. I saw its eyes. She sighed. We're not alone in this building. Not anymore. Something got inside.